stop to think about how one single moment from childhood, maybe just a few simple words, can just echo through your entire life? So today, we're going to dive into this really powerful idea from an article by Dr. Castell Britton, who's the author of Identity Restoration Theory. It's a concept he calls the frozen child, and it's all about how these early experiences can quietly shape our emotional world for decades. Let's see how this all works.
It all starts with these 4 little words. See, for this young boy, Esteban, hearing his father say, "You are not going," wasn't just a command. Oh no, it was the exact moment that something inside of him just fundamentally shifted. He was just a kid, being told he had to stay home while the rest of the family went to the beach. So how did he react? Did he argue? Did he cry? Nope, he just went still. In his article, Dr. Britton calls this an internal freezing. That exact moment when trying to express how you feel just doesn't seem like an option anymore. And then it happened again. The family went to the cinema, and he heard the same words and gave the same silent response.
Okay, so what exactly is this? What are we talking about here? The frozen child. It's this internal emotional pattern. It's basically a protective response where your ability to show what you're feeling it freezes up. And it's all shaped by things that happened to us when we were young. It starts as a way to cope, but it can become a core part of who we are.
Now, what's so wild is how this pattern forms. It's not a one-time thing. First, there's some kind of isolating event, right? Like being told to stay home. The kid's expression just freezes, but then it happens again. And the subconscious mind starts to connect the dots. Pretty soon, that freeze isn't a choice. It just becomes your automatic default response whenever things get deeply emotional.
And here's where it gets really serious. That pattern, born in those childhood moments, it didn't stay in that house. For Esteban, it spread. It became his go-to reaction for pretty much everything, for loss, for love, for any shot at a real deep connection, long into his adult life. Let's see how this played out in a truly heartbreaking way.
In this is where you really see the long-term impact. The exact same pattern that made him go quiet as a little boy showed up decades later. Esteban talked about standing by his mother's side right after she passed away. He knew he was grieving. He felt this immense, crushing weight of loss. But the tears, they just wouldn't come. The emotion was trapped inside, frozen.
Okay, so now let's shift gears. Think about a totally different moment. One that isn't filled with grief, but with love. Just 3 simple words spoken to Esteban by his own child. It should be a moment of pure connection.
And he felt it. He totally understood the love that was being offered to him. But when he tried to say it back, nothing. The words got stuck. That old frozen pattern had cut the wire between his internal feeling and his ability to express it, creating this silent gap right where that connection was supposed to be.
And look, this isn't just some anecdotal story. Dr. Britton's idea is backed by some serious research. Studies have shown that early stress can literally rewire how the brain handles emotion. We also know that these tough experiences create patterns that follow us around into all kinds of new situations. And yep, trauma can cause that exact disconnect between what we feel on the inside and what we can show on the outside.
So let's circle all the way back to those original words. You are not going. It's so clear now, they were way more than just a command. For a child, it was this deep, painful lesson in exclusion. It was a message that said, you don't matter here. Your feelings have no place. And that lesson, it burrowed deep down into his identity.
This is a really important way to reframe what we might just see as emotional numbness. It's not about feeling nothing. It's a learned response, a habit that was built at a time when showing any emotion felt unsafe, or maybe just flat out impossible. It's a shield that's long outlived its original purpose.
You see, Dr. Britton actually met the adult Esteban in a prison in Medellin. And when he asked Esteban about his life, this is where the story began. This statement from the article really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The path that led him to that prison cell, it didn't start with a crime. It started with a little boy who learned to survive by freezing up, by holding everything deep inside. And this is why this story is so important. For anyone out there listening who recognizes a piece of their own story in this, the frozen child isn't just a concept. It might be a real part of you. It's still there, quietly pulling the strings, shaping your reactions, holding back words, and pausing your emotions before they ever get a chance to see the light of day.
But here's the thing. The story doesn't have to end in that silence.
Which brings us to this final, really crucial question. We know these patterns were learned, right? They were formed piece by piece over time. So if a pattern can be learned, can it also be understood? And if we can understand it, can we maybe find a way to slowly, gently begin to thaw?